There are no bad business and investment opportunities, but there are bad entrepreneurs and investors. Robert Kiyosaki. In times of massive inflation, and with a recession looming over our heads, almost every investment opportunity seems either terrible or for the rich. However, there's still an asset you can invest in without needing boatloads of cash. Hello and welcome back to Tide to Wealth, where you are just one sale away from reaching financial success. Let's talk about this asset that can transform the lives of its investors. Silver. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the finance book Rich Dad Poor Dad, has urged investors to buy silver before it's gone. According to him, silver is a better bargain and a better long-term investment than gold, and that the precious metal is getting rarer by the day. In his tweet, Kiyosaki said that he considers both gold and silver to be God's money. However, there are differences between the two assets. Silver is a heck of a lot cheaper than gold. On top of that, silver is a precious metal that's often used in industry. So since it's being used up again and again, it's becoming rarer. The best thing about investing in silver, however, is the fact that anyone can just go out and buy it. I mean, an ounce of silver is selling for around $23. An ounce of gold, on the other hand, is selling for close to $2,000. And no folks, I'm not saying that silver is going to be the same as gold anytime soon. No. However, what I'm saying is that since not a lot of people see silver as the perfect investment right now, the prices are low and there's a chance for you to get in on it early on. Your return on silver will be a lot better than your return on gold in the long term. In fact, Kiyosaki can't stop talking about how good of an investment silver is. Here's what he tweeted: "Gold and silver are God's money, put on earth by God. The problem is that gold is multiple times more expensive than silver. Silver is an industrial precious metal growing rarer as it is used up. To me, silver is a better bargain as a long-term investment. Best of all, everyone can get silver. So, if he is to be believed, silver should be bought up by anyone willing to invest." And apparently, Robert has been obsessed with the metal for quite some time now. He explained that it became a silver nut back in 1964 when he was looking at a dime and saw a copper tinge around the edge. He was only 17, but he knew he was being screwed with the money. According to him, the US government violated Gresham's law, which states fake money drives out gold and silver. And this isn't exactly the first time Kiyosaki has recommended silver. In July 2022, he stated the metal is the best investment value. Oh, and when it comes to silver, or even gold, Kiyosaki says that he doesn't invest in ETFs. That's because he doesn't want any counterparty risk. So instead of an ETF, he'd rather buy a physical bullion. To give his argument some weight, he agreed with Andy Schectman, CEO of Miles Franklin Precious Metals, when he said that silver is the most undervalued asset of a generation. But this begs the question: many people prefer stocks and bonds over investing in something like silver. It seems like a better option. It seems to be more lucrative. So, what is the better long-term investment? Silver or other financial investments? Believe it or not, folks, some super famous finance guys do see more value in precious metals than they see in asset classes. Before I start talking about other financial instruments, what I need to mention is that those assets are tied to the US dollar. You'll always see the stock price or the price of bonds in dollars, not in anything else. However, the US dollar, at the same time, doesn't have any intrinsic value of its own. It's backed by its demand and the economy of the United States. However, with precious metals, there's intrinsic value, thus there's potential for these assets to skyrocket in the coming years. I mean, take a look at the US dollar. Since the inception of the Federal Reserve in 1913, it has lost over 90% of its value. The government really hasn't come in to strengthen the money. Instead, they've diminished and destroyed it. If you've ever taken a finance course, I'm sure you've heard the term cash is king. However, Kiyosaki says that savers are losers and that cash is trash. And no, that doesn't mean you should spend all the money you have. It just means that you should invest it. Now, the thing with other asset classes, as I mentioned, is that they're tied to the US dollar. This system, according to Kiyosaki, cannot be sustained forever. And because of its artificial foundation, the US dollar could someday collapse. Especially considering that the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, are working on abandoning the US dollar for trade with each other. If they're successful, then soon other countries will follow suit. If all this does come to be true, those who have cash savings would see some major losses. In that case, it's better to have something that can be sold all over the world in whatever currency. Take a look at bonds, for example. You could easily hold all your money in bonds, but there's a problem with that. Other than the promise the government will pay you back, your bonds have no value. So if the government is short on cash, they'll pay your bonds back to you by printing more money. This would erase any value the currency holds. So, whenever you do get your bonds back, with profit, it could still be less than what you've invested. And this doesn't just affect you as a bondholder. This will affect you if you have any investments in the US dollar, whether it's stocks or pure cash. Silver, however, is finite. Take a look at what happened in Venezuela. Due to hyperinflation, the currency lost its value, and that horribly affected the lives of its citizens. If anyone was sitting on any gold or silver, they could have sold it for other currencies, thus hedging themselves against inflation. By the way, if you're enjoying everything in this video so far, would really appreciate it if you could just like and hit the subscribe button. So the question is silver a good investment? Silver can be a really smart investment, but it's not right for everyone. Interest rates are high, banks are collapsing, and there's a recession on the horizon, so it's a good time to reevaluate your investments. Due to this, many people are starting to look into silver. Now, if you're looking for long-term growth, silver is the investment you should be making. It's used in medical applications, solar panels, batteries, nuclear reactors, semiconductors, touchscreens, and more. At the same time, it's also used in EVs, which have increased in popularity. According to the Silver Institute, 90 million ounces of the metal will be needed to produce cars. But then again, to invest in this metal, you also need to be comfortable with risks and volatility. In 2022, silver prices went from $17 an ounce to $26 an ounce. If you think about the past decade, the prices have differed even more, going to $14 per ounce at its lowest and $28 per ounce at its peak. That's a 100% increase. But this volatility can be worth it if you're patient. Ian Everard, owner of Arc Silver Gold Osmium, says, the amount of silver annually produced is only currently valued at around $20 billion. When you do the maths, the slightest inflows into the gold and silver markets will cause exponential rises in value. Silver is also the right investment for you if you're looking to diversify your portfolio. However, under harsh economical conditions, the metal tends to hold its value quite well. However, silver can also be a bad investment. If you want a risk-free investment, silver is not the metal for you. Because of its volatility, you can lose a lot of money if you sell at the wrong time. If you're a little impatient and you can't handle the price decreasing, you might want to explore other options. Basically, silver is ideal for the long-term investor who's not afraid of seeing a little volatility. Oh, and it's also not the right investment for you if you want quick returns or dividends. If you're trying to build passive income, silver won't be of much help. It doesn't provide interest or dividends. If that's what you're expecting, then go for assets such as stocks or bonds. You also shouldn't invest in the metal if you need easy liquidity. You see, why silver isn't exactly illiquid, it's still not super easy to sell for cash. If you're expecting to cash in on your investment soon, then gold might be a better option. Gold is extremely liquid and it's bought and sold quite easily. Now that you know the advantages and disadvantages of investing in this metal, let's talk about how you can invest in silver. Well, the easiest way to do that is to buy silver coins or bullion. However, if you do that, you're going to need a safe place to store it. If you choose to store it in a locker in the bank, then you'll be paying for it. You can also invest in silver futures or buy stocks in silver mining companies. However, if you want to do exactly as Robert Kiyosaki, then bullion is the best way to invest in the metal. Before anything else though, remember to study the market extremely carefully, assess your own financial situation, see if you can handle the risk, and talk to an experienced professional. Well folks, with that said, let us know in the comments if you think silver is a good investment. See you next time!